Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, how much depending on your location. Please join in the struggle to liberate our people from the contraption. Like and share videos, news updates. Nuroluayo, na nuroluayo, nuroluayo, na nuroluayo. Ọ dịghị mgbe ike mmadụ ga-akarị ike Chukwu. Ọ dịghị mgbe ike mmadụ ga-akarị ike Chukwu. Nna nụrụ onye kere ụwa nuroluayo. Now the update is this.
In 2023, said Igbos should not go out to vote, that there should be no election in the Southeast. Nigeria, moved in then and said the Finnish government should help us out. Well, this time around, he's now been arrested, we're told, by the Finnish investigation department, in issues relating to terrorism and conspiracy and all of that. What do you think? Chief of Defense Staff wants him extradited to Nigeria so that Nigeria can insist properly on its own sovereignty and say nobody should stay outside and be throwing stones into Nigeria. Well, is he guilty as charged? Let's start with you, with us, Vince, here in the studio with us. And then we'll go to Abuja and talk to, the lawyer. Or am I mixing things up?
Anyway, I am a lawyer.
That's you are the lawyer.
Yes.
Okay.
So,
very good.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Abati, for this wonderful opportunity and to all of you here. Number one is, this is not a court of law to say whether Ekpa is guilty or not guilty. What he's being charged for is terrorism. Or what he's arrested for is terrorism, this time international terrorism. And the question becomes, is it an issue in which he can be extradited to Nigeria? Nigeria has laid the complaint, terrorism for us all is an international crime. And if it is an international crime, by the Rome Statute, all countries must cooperate in the punishment, in the arrest, punishment, and prevention of terrorism.
All countries, point of correction.
All countries that are all countries that are signatory to the Rome Statute.
124.
Yes, all countries that are signatory to the Rome Statute. And in this case, Nigeria is a signatory to the Rome Statute, and Finland is also a signatory to the Rome Statute. So, under that, he can be tried in Nigeria. He can also be tried even in Finland. Now, the question becomes, should he be extradited? Do we have because for you to extradite, usually there should be a bilateral agreement. And from all indication, Nigeria do not have a bilateral agreement with Finland. However, since it's an international crime, he can still be extradited to Nigeria based on the international conventions and the Rome Statute. So, but it's a question of also what will be the conditions. The conditions will now be onerous. Can Nigeria satisfy the requirements of extraditing one to Nigeria without having a bilateral agreement with Finland? So this is where we are. Going into the accusations against him, we are from Nigeria. Some of us are from the Southeast, and we know that the act of terrorism, which involves instilling fear on civilian population to achieve a political goal, because you must understand what is the meaning of terrorism. Are you using unconventional means to instill fear on citizens in order to achieve a political goal? Once it's there, and especially once there is harm, and once people are dying, then certainly the conditions may have been fulfilled. But like I said, it's only the courts of law, either in Finland or in Nigeria, that can determine that. And it's evidence that will assist us to solve that. Thank you.
Very good. Well, let's go to Vince Onyekwelu in our Abuja studio. Vince, thank you very much for joining us. Your take on this Simon Ekpa case.
Thank you. Thank you. Good morning, Nigerians. First and foremost, I speak as a professional, and secondly, I speak as a Nigerian, nothing more, nothing less. Professionally speaking, the Finnish authorities have done their due diligence and they have reasonable grounds to arrest Mr. Simon Ekpa. And in that arrest, they followed due diligence to now charge him based on the information we are getting. Obviously, we still have a lot of work to do for clarifications, to authenticate all these informations. Now, with that due diligence done, it's now meant for the law court in Finland to now look into the request by the Chief of Defense Staff to extradite Simon Ekpa to Nigeria. Professionally speaking, the chances are possible to extradite Simon Ekpa to Nigeria. However, in my opinion, it's almost impossible, though it's not 100% impossible. Because one, there is no extradition treaty between Finland and Nigeria. Number two, the Finnish authorities have every right to take him to court to answer to the charges against him. And that is perfect, that is due diligence. And afterwards, don't forget the CJEU, the Criminal Justice of the European Union, also have a right under the European human rights to also test if he's suitable to be extradited to Nigeria based on one, the charges against him, and number two, the fundamentals, because he has to defend himself in a court of law. You cannot just bring charges without him answering in response to the reasons why he's inciting violence, to the fundamentals why he thinks there's a reason for him to request for self-determination for the people of Biafra. The Criminal Court of Justice of the European Union has to check if they believe in self-determination. They have to check if they believe in human rights abuses, because bringing that man to Nigeria is a great idea, but I'm not sure that the Chief of Defense Staff should go home and relax and sleep, because they have to consider the human rights records in Nigeria as a country. Obviously, we are all Nigerians. We know our human rights records. There is nothing to boast about. And in instances like people that have disappeared in Nigeria, off my head, Daddy Atta is still being looked for. Nobody has seen him for years. The people that participated in the so-called NSAS protest, many of them, after the panel, no human rights justice for them. The people that were involved in the End Bad Governance protest, no human rights for them. Even last week, we saw the human abuse of a couple by an army general. Up till today, we are still hearing. Or about politicians who believe they can buy the justice system in Nigeria. Or politicians who believe they can buy vehicles, build houses for justices. So obviously, we have to understand that Simon Ekpa has to answer to his charges against him. I think that's due diligence to do, and I support that. However, we have to also ask ourselves, can the Finnish authorities, if they want to copy what we do in Nigeria, example, Simon Ekpa is a politician in Finland today. He joined politics in 2017 and is a member of the National Coalition Party, the ruling party in Finland today. They won their national elections in February this year, and they have a president of the country. Simon Ekpa also served the country as an army officer. Now, if you look at this human rights records in Nigeria, what Nigerian politicians have done about justice in Nigeria, do you think the National Coalition Party of Finland will feel comfortable to extradite Simon Ekpa to Nigeria based on zero extraditory treaty between Nigeria and Finland and based on human rights of Nigeria in general?
My people, another hear them now. What do you make of it? Drop your comments. But remember, it's Biafra or nothing. Bye for now.